and welcome to EDFL Web TV from the Sporting Globe, 690 Mount Alexander Road in Moonee Pond. My name's Teo Pellizzeri, joined by Adam Saricaoglu. It seems I say this every week, Adam, but a huge round of EDFL football, and round 10 really threw up some ladder-shaping results and also some very big upsets.
Yeah, it's almost thrown all three divisions into chaos, some of these results at the moment. It's a very unpredictable season that's playing out, and yeah, particularly in Div 1 and Div 2, some pretty interesting results that we'll get stuck into today.
What was your biggest talking point of the week?
Yeah, I was at Clifton Park on Saturday, Teo, the big grand final rematch between two of the powerhouses of the league, Greenvale and Aberfeldie, and really funny game of football. It was quite ugly for 2.5 quarters, and then suddenly in the third quarter a game of footy broke out, and it was Greenvale that did all of the attacking, and their midfield, despite losing Trav Jorgensen with concussion, really dominated the game, and now it raises a lot of questions down at Abers just where they're at, because it was the first close game of the year and they failed to deliver in that game.
Well, let's get some of the reaction from that game. Aberfeldie sent over Brendan Hallinan, their assistant coach, to speak to us on EDFL Match of the Day, and we also caught up with the Sporting Globe Player of the Day, Stephen Brewer, and also the victorious Greenvale coach, Adam McPhee.
It's a battle of resilience. Resilience being the ability to bounce back when you're faced with challenge, and we're faced with challenge. Our backs are up against the wall at the moment, and no doubt we will put some corrective actions into place on Tuesday evening, and we hope to continue that for the run against Duda on Saturday. So we've got plenty of work to do. We don't deny that, but there are a lot of positives to take away from the first half of today's game, and we'll look to build on those strengths because that's important too in the lead up to the Duda Stars game.
Yeah, I spoke to the boys just about intensity. We had to have more intensity around the footy, and we couldn't let guys like Kabila and Paddock walk out of the stoppages, and I think we stopped them from doing that. We had our tackles a bit better, but we also won the footy ourselves, and we're able to spread better, and yeah, just you got to win contested footy against a team like Aberfeldie. So yeah, no, I love it. I love it playing in the midfield. I love playing at the Greenvale Footy Club. I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, really enjoying my footy. I think that's showing. Body's good, which is always a good thing. I'm not carrying too many injuries, so I'm really enjoying it.
I remember a contest in the third quarter where McNamara from Aberfeldie held his ground and took a big strong grab, and the man that went down for you guys was Nicholas Parthenopoulos. It's funny how in football the tale can change so quickly. He ended up becoming the hero of the game. Tell us a bit about him, because obviously his influence was proved to be the game changer in the last quarter.
Yeah, look, I thought that Nick's a real up-and-coming young player. He's spent a lot of time in the reserves over the past couple of years. Very, very good player. Certainly, he's more of an inside type midfielder in the reserves, and he needs to work on parts of his game to be able to step up into the midfield for Premier League level. And he's been getting some chances in the midfield when, certainly when Jorgo and Corrette weren't available. But now we've got those guys back. He can play down back as well, so he's very good with his versatility. I thought that he was actually struggling a little bit on Hislop down forward today, and that's where we made that move. And we made the move to get Potsy also down back to give us a bit more strength in the air on McNamara, and also when Blake pushed forward. So that essentially either freed up Huckstep to go into the ruck, or the move that we made late in the game, and that was to push Parthenopoulos forward, and then we put Huckstep back to get that right matchup as well. So, it was a bit of Russian roulette in a sense. We didn't know what we were going to get out of it, but certainly it did pay dividends with Parthenopoulos to be able to kick that goal from, the first one that he had as a set shot from, I think it might have been 60 metres out. It was a huge kick. Certainly, that the time of the game that it presented itself for him to be able to go back and show composure and kick that was outstanding. Yeah, look, I think this game, and to win it like that, to come from behind, what will happen from here will be a huge amount of belief. To know that we were not really in the game, we weren't playing great footy, but to understand that a four-quarter effort was required to stick to the structures. If we adhere to them, we know we can give ourselves every chance, because we have got the talent that can be very damaging in spurts, as we noticed today. In 5 minutes of footy, we were able to kick 4 goals. I think for us, it's not a matter of if the other teams win or lose for us, then fantastic. But we need to just focus on what makes us a good side, which is what we've done. Certainly for the last 5 weeks, we've been able to really focus and narrow in what makes us a good team, and it's more about just the process for us going forward. And we've just got to win as many games. It's an old cliche, but if you win more games than the opposition, you're a chance. And that's what we need to focus on doing. But the result takes care of itself if you get your processes right. And I'm so pleased with the guys' efforts to be able to grind their way out, to fight through that, and to show some discipline, to stick to some structures, and get a result today. I'm extremely happy with their efforts.
So those were the thoughts of the players and coaches that were out there on the field. Adam, what does this mean for Aberfeldie? Another capitulation. They went from 34 points up to just 4 points up as Greenvale kicked 5 unanswered goals in 10 minutes of football at the end of the third quarter. And even then, from 13 points up in the last quarter, Aberfeldie couldn't hold on. So this was another really worrying loss, and it seems as though every time Aberfeldie lose, they do it in a way that raises a lot of questions about the way the team's playing.
They do it at home as well, Teo. It's quite bizarre exactly just how this season's playing out at the moment for Aberfeldie. Look, right now they're not playing like they are a contender in this premiership race. They look right now gone. There's plenty of time to get it right. They're still obviously in the top 4 at the moment, but suddenly they're only they're on equal win-loss with Greenvale, who are outside the top 4. So suddenly finals aren't guaranteed for them. So they're going to want to get it right. I reckon it's all above the shoulders down at Aberfeldie at the moment. They've got to do a lot more soul searching. I know they probably have done a little bit of that in recent weeks, but they've really got to delve deep into the psyche to try and figure out how they're going to get their season back on track and gain some confidence.
Now, as much as there was spirit in Greenvale's win, and as much as they had that never say die attitude, the skill and the execution was quite poor, and they didn't look like premiers or like premiership contenders at the weekend. It was a very good win, but are we perhaps reading too much into it to say they go on from here and march into the premiership contenders bracket? Because we see Avondale Heights in the immediate future for them, and I'm not very confident that they're going to get close to the Heights, even up at Section Road. Am I perhaps underrating what they did at the weekend to overcome Aberfeldie and win the way they did?
No, there's still some question marks as well at Greenvale at the moment, but I think what the issue is they just haven't had enough game time into their sort of regular group, and they're slowly starting to get their best 22 on the park, obviously, and it's going to take a while for them to gel. It's almost like the season's restarted for them over the past month. I mean, they've been good. They've won 5 in a row now, Greenvale, so you can't really fault them. But yeah, they've still got a little bit of work to do. They're not playing their best footy at the moment. They're not going to beat Avondale Heights if they dish up what they did dish up against Aberfeldie. But in the long run, I think Greenvale will be okay. Obviously, they're just outside the top 4 at the moment, and there's still plenty of time to get in and cause some damage in September.
We'll go through the rest of Strathmore Community Bank Premier Division in the wash-up. And don't forget, the Sporting Globe, 690 Mount Alexander Road in Moonee Ponds. The Player of the Day award went to Stephen Brewer, who you heard from just earlier, and he gets a $40 voucher to spend right here at the sponsor of EDFL Web TV. Stay with us, there's plenty more coming up.